Now, for the center line in the middle here, it doesn't really make sense to do this hole, which would be that hole, because we have this larger hole that would use the same center line. So let's click on that line, and then we get the long center line for uh, our part. Okay. So now let's work on the center marks for the front view. Okay. Um, Something really nice is the centered pattern, and what you can do is click on that. And down at the bottom, Inventor wants me to select the center of the circular pattern. So I'll just click on this circle. Okay. And now I will left click on that circle, and I'm going to go around counterclockwise. I'm going to click on that circle, that circle, that circle, that circle, right click and select create. And you can see that it does the nice circular pattern and puts center marks in all the correct places. Okay, so now we've created our front and top view. Okay, and remember, this view is projected from the from the base view. Okay, so if I move the base view, the top view follows just as it should. So we don't have to worry about that. Later on, if we need to space some views, we can just kind of move them around as needed, and they stay connected in the correct way. But now let's work on our section view. Okay, so what I want to do is to go back to Place Views tab, and then select Section. Okay, and to create the section view, I just need, when I get near the object here, I just need to click. Oh, let's try that again. When I get near the object and see the dotted box around the object, I need to left click. Okay, and at this point, Inventor asked me to enter the endpoints of the section line. Okay, what I want to do is get near the center point, because I want my section line to run directly through the middle. And once I see the green dot, then I will just slowly, I don't have my finger on the mouse, by the way, I'm just slowly going to pull up my crosshairs. And you can see I get this tracking line next to my crosshairs. And when I get above the visible edge, I just want to left click and then draw a line right back down, straight down through the object. And when I get beyond the visible edge on the bottom, I want to left click again. Now I want to select right click and continue. And I can pull my new section view out to the right, and when I get where I want it to be, I can just left click and it creates the section view automatically. Is that nice or what? Okay, so before I get too much further, I need to go ahead and and add center marks again. So I want to go back to Annotate, Centerline Bisector tool. So I'll click on that visible line, then that visible line. I'll do the same thing here. Same thing here. Okay, so now what I need to do is actually dimension the object. And one nice thing that we can do, since you remember when we created the sketch, the original sketch, the revolution, we went ahead and put our limits in, okay, and our diameters. Okay, so we're gonna reap the benefits of that right now. So what I want to do is, under the Annotate tab, I want to select Retrieve. Okay, this will retrieve dimensions from the sketch. Alright, so I just need to select the view. So I want the dimensions to be brought into this view. So I click Select View, and now I'm going to click on this view, and then select the Select Dimensions button. Okay, and it brings in all the dimensions from the sketch. Okay, now we don't want all these, but we do want several of them. Okay, for example, and I'm just going to click on these. Left click here, here, here. I want those 3 dimensions for sure. And then I want the height dimension. I don't want the 0 dimension, because that was just a placement dimension. And I don't want the fillet dimension, because I'm going to create a note for that. And I want that depth dimension. And I don't need either of these dimensions in the right side view. So once I found those, let me click Apply. Okay, and it only keeps those dimensions there. Okay, and now I can X out of that, and those dimensions are brought into the to the drawing. This view is a little bit close to the front view. Let me left click on that, and I see the little move icon next to my pointer. Once I do, I can just pull that view out to the left. to the right, excuse me, and all the dimensions come with it. So now these dimensions are a little bit messy, so we need to place them in a neat fashion. So let's pull, again, I see the little move icon next to my pointer. I will pull that dimension out to the right and drop it. Okay, I'll do the same. Actually, I think I'll leave this one here. Okay, I will pull this one over to the right, and maybe stagger it just a little bit. And these dimensions look fine. Okay, our object's not fully dimensioned though. We need to dimension the bolt circle, like is shown in the text, and we need to dimension these holes. So what I want to do is use the dimension tool for that. I can just click dimension and then dimension. Click on the bolt circle to dimension it. Pull my dimension out to the side. Okay, if I want to edit the dimension, I'm given an opportunity to, but I'll just select OK. I want to dimension the top hole here. Okay, I'll pull that dimension up and then left click. Now this time I do want to edit the dimension because there are 4 of these holes. Okay, so at this point you may or may not be able to see it. I have a cursor waiting for input at this point, but I actually want 4x, just as shown in the text, in front of the dimension. Okay, so let me use the left arrow on my keyboard, and now the cursor is actually in front of this area, the gray area here, 4x, and then I want to put a space, and you can see my little preview up here. Now it says 4 times diameter 0.50. The gray area here is the automatic dimension, the diameter 0.50, even though it's not explicitly shown right here. But that's how you add the 4x, and then you can just select OK. So now it looks like our drawing is fully dimensioned. We just need to add the information in our title block. So let's click on the Inventor Application button, and let's go down to iProperties. Okay, on the summary, we can give the title. Okay, so this would be exercise, and if we're using a different edition of the book by the time you watch this video, you'll have to change the name accordingly. But let's give Giseki the credit, Giseki 14th edition. Let's use your 3 initials for the author. So mine are WBC, and let the company be Chattahoochee Technical College. Okay, and let's go under project to make sure there's nothing we want. Let's change the designer to WBC as well. Well, of course, your own initials. And then select OK. And I think that's all the information that we need in the title block. The last thing that we need to do is we need to add a note for the fillets and rounds. And let me just use the text button here under the Annotate tab. So I'll click on text, and then I will come down here in this area and just left click, and I will type the note as shown in the text, fillets and rounds are 0.12. Okay, so that is how you create the part, and you create the detail sheet for the part in Inventor, and that concludes this video.